This conference will now be recorded.
Start this commission meeting with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did your chair get raised up?
I thought you were sitting up there pretty tall today. Afternoon, Brad.
Lower one.
All right, September 20th, 2021. Shortly after 12:30 here. We're going to go into some public comments if we have any online, which I'm not seeing anything right up on the board right now. And we don't have no public in the building right now, in the room. So.
No comments online right now?
No comments online right now. So, the agenda approval, and first, next thing on the line, I'm going to put an executive session right before the health department at 1:30 with the board, Tina and Brad. Probably 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know what yet. What I'll do. We'll go with 15 or more. 15 maybe. Okay. Probably a 15-minute one. And does anybody else have anything that needs to be added to the agenda? I think there's one commissioner on the other end who's got a comment down at the end with something that he brought in today, so we'll save that till the end of the meeting. Okay. Well, I'm assigning you something down there, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
Better get creative.
We look
Find something.
I'll plan to leave early.
Okay, so, nobody else have anything to, Brad, do you have anything? Okay. With that being said, then, do I need to make a motion to adopt the agenda? Yeah, I'd make that motion to adopt the agenda. Second by Johnny here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Okay, then administrative business would be the next up on the list here. And that's Tina.
Okay. In your packet, you had department revenue reports.
Any questions or anything?
Okay, then I have minutes. I've got several sets of minutes here from September 7th, September 13th, and September 15th.
Motion to approve September 7th, September 13th, and September 15th.
Are you doing them all? Okay, I'll second that.
Do I have any conversation over any of the minutes? Then I need a second for Jonah's, Kent seconded it, okay, all righty. Kent seconded it, Jonah made the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 for all three of them.
Okay. There's 3 signature pages. There's that one, and then this other one is front and back. Both need a
Front and back,
signature.
okay.
This is the front and back.
Good.
Thank you. In your packet, you did have information on some change orders. Actually, I think it's one single change order here for you. And then there were also supplements for, just for your review.
Been doing real good lately. Don't send too many of them. End of the year. Yeah. You're right there. Trying to resell. Why that was on there. Livers.
And there's just one for signature, the rest are all for review.
I got one. Okay, closer, I got one. Got seven. Just when this goes. Going up. Yeah. Small, a little bigger. Yeah. Nothing happens, it happens. No. Other cocktail extracts. Yeah, I got that. Okay, it's a total mess.
It's okay.
All
right.
It wasn't a big stack.
I know, right? I had a couple things on the table there for you today. So there was a pay application for the EMS building. It's pay application number 2 in the amount of $37,984. So we need to have board approval.
Is there any discussion on it?
A big chunk of it is concrete and earthwork.
Probably.
Make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion by Jonas, second by Kent Becker to approve this pay agreement for $37,584 on the Hillsborough EMS building. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, would you want to sign this one, Randy?
Okay, yes, yes. this is-
Just down in the lower left-hand corner would be great.
Thank you.
If he doesn't, I can. Okay. Did have a request that I put on the table there for you from the Free Press regarding potentially doing a column.
I think it'd be a great idea. Give us a chance to get some more information out directly from the county, from the commission. So those, how would we go about approving those submittals, Brian?
Basically, that would
be dependent upon whatever policy or protocol you want to adopt. If you wanted to run through, you know, like if it's coming from a department head or someone else, and you'd at least like to see them in advance, we can set it up that way. Probably a good idea, at least initially, so that you know. The standards that they've established and outlined here are not objectionable, and based upon what they're asking for here, I think that's reasonable. There's the one that always allows for some element of, I'm not going to really, I don't want to call it censorship because I don't consider it that, but more revision than we might want. But I really don't, unless and until that happens, I don't see this as being particularly constraining. So.
My question to the commission would be, is I'd like to see some guidelines that the commission wants from this, for this. This is their guidelines, what do we want?
Well, we need to set goals and targets.
Okay.
Yeah, like, my suggestion would be, the first article would be our strategic planning, what we've set as our main kind of a global article or column to start with. The commission's working together. These are some of the things we hope to accomplish. Maybe some of these we've already accomplished. The next one, maybe we as a commission decide what's the next most important message we need to get out. Is that roads? Is that, where does our property tax revenue come from? Where does it go? There's a topic, health department. I mean, you can go down the list then of the next step.
Right.
But there's a multitude. It'd be nice to do a focus on each department.
I was just going to say, you can set it up just based on how it's being described, as it runs through here anyway.
Right.
And then you can make assignments to a particular department rather than waiting for volunteers, which might never from departments for particular information that could either, again, be distilled through here or run directly through them. You also have a whole series of topics that we'll use them on particular projects that we outline the history of and why and what's going on and what you're confronted with, the challenges that exist in those areas. There's a lot of places for you to get material from.
I'd be happy just to do that draft for commission review and staff review for an initial column. And again, it would be, what I had thrown out, it would be, you know, commission is working together. These are the priorities. We did strategic planning, which shows we're trying to do prioritization. We're trying to do leadership. We're trying to create efficiencies. We're trying to do the best for constituents with the funds we have and being responsible.
With those guidelines, would we though, you pass it off to a department head that may not want to do something? How do we give them some guidelines to do something so that they know the parameters that they?
You would still do that on a case-by-case basis. It's going to be a little different whether it's road and bridge or it was planning and zoning or whatever, because there's different kinds of, and again, based upon what you're confronted with on a regular basis, this gives you a forum. It can be really effective to the extent of, you know, we need to respond to that. Get enough people asking us individually week to week about this particular topic. Might be good if they had some idea what it is that we've had to have in terms of an educational process, including some of the things from a department head in terms of what they're confronted with, like a Bryce, for example, with the types of mileage that he's got to deal with and the different kinds of goals he's got to weigh and to try to achieve based on a limited budget and limited manpower. And it can be simple things like just, we're down so and so many people, folks. You need to understand that they don't just come out of the woodwork these days. It's really helpful for people, you know, if you're just the citizen down the road, to know this is part of the reason that we have some difficulty on occasion getting to things as quickly as you might think you'd like us to.
That would be a way to update, like on technology.
Yeah.
And think, you know, what is like the register of deeds, you know, it's all, people don't know it's on microfilm.
Right.
I mean, not right, whatever.
People want to know what affects them.
Yeah. Well, they don't until they come use it.
Yeah, if they use it, register's office all the time.
But it's educational and informational too.
Yeah. Procedural things, they come in to the clerk's office with an open records request or different types of other issues that Tina's confronted with regularly. It's not a bad place to say, we get this regularly, you should know this is the process, or there is a process, or here's where you can look. And
Yeah, explain voter registration. You know,
Yeah.
next month it closes.
the rigging.
Oh, God. Doesn't some of that stuff though, you know, when it comes to election and voting, don't we put some of that stuff on the website?
We do.
It's just a question of urging someone to do it, to look.
Read the website.
Yeah. Even something as simple as that can be helpful.
Is there, with this being said, Hannah, is there anything that you see that we're, might be overlooking?
No, I don't think so, but I mean, they are asking for monthly commitments, so, if you wanna do it, it's fine, we just gotta make sure that it.
Every month there's something that can be submitted. A big blank section would not be good.
See the
I think-
website.
I think, Dave, you've said you had some ideas you'd like to submit or something. I think before we make any motion to do it, let's take a look at that, bring it, put it back up, bring it in, or send it in with a packet or whatever.
How would I do that, Brad? Do I send it individually, send it to Tina to distribute?
Send it to Tina to be distributed.
Just wanna make sure we do it right.
Yeah.
And then if anyone has comments, they can submit them to Tina.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or
Because that's what it's supposed to be, a group?
Or we can come back in group here and discuss.
And discuss it here.
Sure. Okay. That's supposed to be from the commission, not one commissioner.
Right, right.
I think that'd be okay if we didn't have one every month, but.
Kind of depends. I didn't even ask that question. If they were saying, well, okay, once we commit, is it every month or just as we have them? I suspect they want something every
It
month.
says
We-
the third.
We've got plenty of opportunities. We can-
Yeah.
But I
It's the
know,
third week of every month.
I know I should, you know,
Yeah.
if you don't have one, we'll fill it with something else, so.
That's something else to think about too, just, whether we have the option to drop a month, say, Christmas time, November, whatever.
Well, and if they have a full paper too.
Well,
Yeah, they may have full paper,
All righty.
okay, so we know what we're doing, right?
We'll bring it-
Commissioner Mueller
yeah.
is gonna,
Bring it back. to-
We'll bring it, submit a draft to Tina to distribute.
Yeah.
okay. And I also gave you some maps this morning that
Yes.
just show value changes, at different types and different years there for
Okay.
you. That's just information for you. We are getting ready to go through our renewal process with K-Camp, and they wanted me to just verify with you all, the way we have the courthouse insured, because we have, the building listed for standard replacement costs, not historical values, so, if we want to do reproduction cost value, we need to list the building at $6,452,700, so, I guess I need to know how you want to do that.
Didn't we change that when we was back with insurance agents in Marion County? I thought we did go to historical then, but maybe we didn't.
I can check. I'll look
You know,
to see
but-
what you did before.
But that, if it's not listed now with them, well, it's not listed that way. So we need to make a decision. I mean,
Well, what's the difference in price?
It'll probably be
Probably big bucks.
significant.
Yeah.
Standard replacement,
Yeah.
historical.
I'll try to get some more information.
I think that would be good.
Because I know we've had it, yeah.
let us
An
know
estimate.
what the cost might be, and so we can take a look at it.
Okay. All right, and the last thing that I have, I don't believe it was in your packets, but the treasurer-elect, Susan Berg, is requesting the ability to close the treasurer's office from 2 to 4 on Friday, October the 8th, during Janine's retirement reception, and then also in the morning. They want to actually close it at noon on that day, and then they want to close during the swearing in of the new treasurer on October 12th. So that all the staff members can attend. And so if the board is good with that, then we would have adequate time to notify the public.
Is that gonna
we
be
have.
after this is all done, then is there still time for some transactions after that, or is it closed for the whole afternoon?
Well, on the date of Friday, October 8th, it would be closed for the afternoon. There would be no time to do any transactions after.
After, in the afternoon period?
But on the morning of Tuesday, October the 12th, that's the day that the treasurer takes office. I would think that we would try to do the swearing in like at 8 that morning, or in conjunction, actually we're closed on the day before that, I think. And then they would be able to open for business after. But
Okay.
she would need to take office officially take office and be sworn in before performing any official duties as county treasurer.
Okay.
So that's the first thing in the morning then?
Right. I would think that would be the best.
Yes.
Does anybody have any problems?
No, I would make a motion.
Okay.
I'd move that the treasurer's office be allowed to close on Friday, October 8th from noon to 4, and Tuesday morning, October 12th, 8 a.m. until the swearing ceremony closes.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Should be noon to 5.
Noon to 5, probably.
Oh, 5, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Second, David Crowfoot was second.
Noon to 5.
Any other
I
discussion?
think it was a 5. Yes.
No other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure that
Yep.
it'll help them in their planning.
Yes.
Okay,
And do get it in the paper though.
yes,
Get it publicized.
we will do that. We'll share it on social media also, and on the website, and any other way we can. I do have one other thing,
All
but
right.
it can be at the very end if that is helpful. We're actually the bookkeeper for the fire district number 3. Marion County is actually the bookkeeper for 2 of our fire districts, and 2 or 3 actually. And they are building a new fire station. They have put some money toward it, but they will need a lease purchase for the remainder. And so, since you're not their board, but we're the bookkeepers, I don't know exactly the process that needs to happen for that. I did send out bids for the lease purchase, and I have 3 responses, but I don't know if this commission needs to approve anything, or if it would be solely resting on the fire district board. And so that's something I'm gonna probably need a little guidance on from the county council.
It's gonna require a publication. So,
You know, this is a good place for me to give a directive for our.
Yeah, another directive, yeah.
Directive
I
to
got
step
that.
right in here and
Okay,
shine a little bit. Okay,
I shall.
okay, all righty. So Tina will do that down after Road and Bridge, is that what you're thinking?
Well, if Brad just has a directive to be able to work with me on that and get everything in place, then.
Is that okay for the board? Okay. Shall be done. Wait a minute.
As directed.
Okay, that's right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's just something that's good, it's a little time sensitive, so we need to be moving
Okay,
forward.
we need to get with it then.
Okay, thank you.
All
That's
right, is
I
that
have.
the end of your business?
It is.
Okay, we're gonna move right into the 8th Judicial Mediation here.
Well, thank you very
I'm gonna
much.
have you give your name and sit down there where your bag is so the public on
All right.
the system can hear you and know what's going on.
Judge Chrisman, so give him the big show.
There you
go.
Turn my microphone
There you go.
My name is Ben Sexton. Been a judge in the district for about 21 years now. Chief judge for about 30 days, taking over from what I call the GOAT, my power, and was a tremendous chief judge, and I think not only for the counties that he went to and home county here, but for all of us, judges and court staff alike. So I wanted to come down and introduce myself. We're going to be working together, and I look forward to the relationship. I have my person that's probably in charge here to my left, Nikki Davenport. So I wanted to introduce myself, take the time to come down and say hi. Look forward to working with you. I'm going to see you hopefully a little bit more, God willing, as time goes on. And I want to talk about the mediation policy. When we had been doing this in our district, specifically Judge Hornbaker and I, for each other, and we had cases that we thought would lend itself to an individual coming in and talking to both parties and the defendant, and it worked very well. So it was kind of ironic when we had the pandemic come down and the Supreme Court sent out a directive to all the judicial districts, listen, we want you to start doing criminal mediation. And so we've done it a lot in this district, and Judge Powers and I did a lot in other districts. Mike and I both went to Reno County and did mediation for them, and then Both of us went to Lyon County and did a lot of mediation for those individuals over there. And I would like to keep that program going. So I've looked around and I've drawn up and drafted an administrative order that we're going to use. And we're blessed with having 2 retired judges that stayed in the district. Judge Mike Powers and Judge Stephen Hornbaker. And I think the roster of mediators for this will be any retired judge and any sitting judge in the district. It really works well to have a retired judge because you have a person that is not a part of the crew coming in and not a sitting judge. You always tell them anything we talk about it, I'm not going to discuss with anyone else. So that retired judge works really well in that regard. So if you do see bills that might be coming across that we're going to pay, I think, out of our jury fund, part is from Judge Powers or Stephen Hornbaker. Obviously, if a sitting judge does it, you're not going to get a bill. We're already paid. But if they do it, and I'm trying to get it started with cases up in Gary County, so those may be coming across, and hopefully when we take a look at it, it's going to be much less spent doing that than calling in jurors and having to, get it settled right before the case starts.
And what kind of class of cases are you looking at? Is this small crimes or large crimes or?
What it really works well in, and I expect attorneys to work amongst themselves and get it done initially. And I think 90% of the cases will be that way. But when you have 4 or 5 cases against one particular person, or you have 2 or 3 cases here and 2 or 3 cases in another district, that's when it really lends itself well. And as far as the severity, I can tell you that I've done mediation have been successful on attempted murder, rape, in Lyon County, Greeno County. So it's any number of cases, but generally the more severe the case, probably the better mediation is going to take place, and they can have that conversation in regards to the sentencing guidelines and where you fall and what would happen if this turns out to be 2-person felonies here, what it does to your criminal history. There's a lot of conversation that defendant can have with a disinterested third party that's familiar with the system that's very beneficial. So if they have a lot of cases, or the more severe the case, those lend themselves very well to mediation.
Okay.
The simple cases, I would truly hope that those get settled like they would normally or proceed on.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of budget you're looking at or anything like that, but I was just wondering, whether if it's mediation on every case or something like that.
That wouldn't be, no, and that would be a failure as far as I'm concerned, because I think then we're allowing people that should be doing their jobs, we're letting them abdicate their responsibilities, and I don't think they ought to be able to do that.
Oh.
But if you get to that point where you have a guy that's charged in 3 separate cases with sales of methamphetamine, then those sit down and say, okay, here's what they're offering, and then you could kind of work back and forth with the attorneys and hopefully reach a middle ground.
Hopefully, will things come to agreement then maybe quicker, do you think?
It would be my hope they would. And we have in there that mediation doesn't prevent the flow of that case. So I don't want them coming up a day before the jury trial saying, oh, we have mediation scheduled. No, that's not going to happen. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And where do you, you didn't say which, did you out of Gary County?
I'm Abilene.
Abilene, okay. Dixon County.
I grew up on a farm. If you go past the airport, about a mile past the airport in Abilene, you go straight south. That's where our family farm is. My brother's still, oldest brother farms.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
So I have a big affinity for small towns and rural counties. Very comfortable in that job.
Well, Judge Powers come in here and we didn't know him, and he come in here and he adapted to this. I don't know where I never have asked him where he grew up at. About
No, he grew up
Yates Center.
Yates Center.
Southeast Kansas.
Been to Yates Center when his father passed away. He comes from a very small town himself.
Yeah.
It's a long ways down.
But he was in
Yes, it
Council
is.
Grove.
Can't get there from here.
Yeah.
Hard digging.
So this should speed up
Yeah.
Yes.
the felons being sentenced. I mean, it won't take 3 years to go to trial now.
It would be
We
my-
can do this in 6 months.
Well, you would hope. And, you know, they talk about the glut of criminal cases because of the pandemic, and
You had it before.
I don't think there is the glut that people, I feel very comfortable where we are. Everybody, we work the cases pretty hard, so I don't think there's that glut of jury trials that are getting set on dockets. I think we're in good shape.
Good.
When they'll
Roger,
only
good.
be seating the new judge,
Quick as it can, I hope.
guess it's up to the governor.
Yeah, and we have 2 openings, obviously, and so, yeah, that'd be nice. Look forward to it.
Well, I think that we're welcome to be aboard, and if there's anything we can do at any time, we're just as welcome to come right down here and tell Tina we'd like to get on the agenda and come see this commission, so.
Well, and likewise, I hope you know the door's open the other way too, folks.
Good, because I've
Mhm.
been up there and seen the judge every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Good. Just for friendly visitors.
I'm
We
gonna-
weren't quite sure what you were saying there.
When we sit,
Like the paper did it.
when we finally do get the names of the other judges and we do judicial assignments, I'm going to try my best to have an assignment in every county, so I can come at least once or twice a month. Forced to come once or twice a month, and she can get used not driving, to come down. I think it's good. It's good to travel.
Well, if you can't make it, you can always log.
Yeah. We do that a lot. Not
Yeah.
sure as I'm fond of it, the face-to-face, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat, but yet, I don't know if it's as neat as it's supposed to be.
it's here forever, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so too.
So do we need a motion or something, or you just telling us what you're doing?
No, we're just telling, just.
Now that, we may
He's
actually.
coming in and laying down the law.
If I could just add, it may become a line item in possible
Okay.
future budgets. That's to be determined, but that's a possibility. Or it may just continue to come out of
Yeah.
jury line item.
It will be interesting to see in the future how many mediation cases there are, you know, what the results are, what the savings are.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep track of all that.
Because that'd be awesome.
Be cheaper than lawyers.
It's a $10 check when you have to bring in 400 or 500 people that try to alleviate.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think you've been here quite a few years now, haven't
I
you?
have.
You've been, what, how many years you been here?
24 in the district, but 7 as the court administrator.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, you got a good person to lead you down the road?
Oh, yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
And I told her, Mike is a very good manager. And I told her, I said, you're gonna have more autonomy now than you ever had in your life. And rightfully so. She's
Thank you
yeah.
for stopping in and
You
visiting
bet.
with us, we appreciate that.
You bet. Look forward to working with you guys.
Any other questions from anybody?
Good to meet you, Judge.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too, thank you.
Sometimes there needs to be somebody just out there doing a little talking between two people. I mean, just, I understand where they're headed, but okay, that's a good deal. I think we could, go into a 15-minute executive session with the board, Brad, Tina. First, this be for personnel performance.
Yes.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. For a matter of 15 minutes, we'll be approximately 117 to 120, 107. 107 to 122, maybe 15 minutes, 122. That's my motion. With the board, Brad and Tina. That's my motion. Do I hear a second? Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye?
All right.
Okay. All righty. Gotta make sure he's awake
Keep
down
looking
there.
at you.
Oh,
I don't.
distracted.
Okay, so back at 122.
He needs a like button down there. He just hit on his computer screen.
That's a planned Friday.
This conference will now be recorded.
I have an executive session, no decisions. We will be visiting with Deidre here in just a few minutes, whenever we get her in here. And got some things to set in her department to get set up for while she's gone. We'll take care of that here shortly.
Oh, and I wanted to let you know that
Can we take care of the motions now? Are we going
I-
to?
it might be nice to wait till Deidre's here. I just also wanted to let you know, though, that we are, you're hearing sounds, but the people are here working on the north stairs.
Oh, I've seen a
So
trailer.
today is the first day, they just started.
Good.
So it'll be the north stairs and some work on the west stairs, so.
Okay. When the snow blows this winter, it won't go down the cracks.
I hope not.
Is Deidre on the payroll today?
Yeah, she's on the agenda at 1:30. So we're just a tiny bit early.
Good schedule.
Just come out, look at the steps. No.
Have they got holes out in?
I don't know, that's what I was asking.
What they were gonna start with was power washing and, that's basically what he told me.
Well, Ken, we was up north up there the other day, and that commissioner said they put cement in their steps. They didn't do the rock or anything like that. They put cement in, so.
Probably had rock there at one time, I would guess.
Yeah, that's what I
Took it
wondered.
out.
What they do to the stamp concrete?
I don't know, we didn't go over to see the actual steps or anything, but, we were just talking about that we had a step problem. I said, yeah, we put cement in ours.
Is that a Clay Center?
Yeah.
I thought, don't hold me to that, maybe a different one. They go ahead and do the substructure in concrete with some bonding agent, and then they just lay a 1 or 2 inch slab of rock on top of it, so you kind of cheat.
Mhm.
It looks like it's solid stone. but
Veneer.
it's not.
Yeah,
Veneer.
Yeah, veneer.
The stamp concrete works pretty good too.
Yeah, it does. If you get somebody who knows what they're doing, it's great.
I'm actually see a little patio there at Peabody, right behind the city building there. The guy runs some, and the guy's done it before, so I'm anxious to see his job. See what
I hadn't seen that. Was it there already?
No, it's across the alley.
Oh, okay.
Across the alley.
Okay, okay.
At the church. North of, first house north of the church, look at his backyard. Yeah. And I just saw it being run the other day, I haven't seen it since it's
I'd
been.
be curious who it is.
He stamped it, it's supposed to look like rock.
Mhm.
Yeah, they let it green up a little bit, and then they throw down that powder topper, and they just stamp it.
Stamp it.
I mean, just watching them guys work.
Is it rubber or? It is, I think.
It's a rubber, but I think it's got like a dusting on it,
Oh.
so it doesn't stick.
Okay.
But just if that pad was to turn a little bit, it'd throw everything off, you
Mhm.
know?
That's what I mean. These guys are gonna be pretty good to get it right.
This was a one-man show doing it, I think. I don't know if he had somebody else help him stand.
Videos I've seen on it, it's crazy. They'll have like 4 or 5 little pieces, all stamp one, walk out and stamp the next, and then you start transferring. And I suppose that keeps them in alignment.
Give me that yellow one. Let's see what's in there. See if there's any surprises.
It says confidential and Kent can't see.
That's good.
Oh. Do I make sense of this valuation change?
You need for 21?
Yeah.
What about it?
Well, the top page shows the 1441,
Yep, 'cause that's because of the pipeline.
Right, but then you look through all the other categories.
There's no category for the pipeline.
Yeah, okay. And then everything's a negative.
Yeah.
So how good was it?
Right, what caught my eye was it showed
It
ag
just,
land,
all
we can't, it showed ag land went down. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't see that.
She's on her way. I just
It
want
went
to.
Not the sales I've seen.
It went barely.
Yeah, but look at the western 2/3 of the state.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Western 2/3, is it
Okay, it's
down
about
quite a bit?
It's down the third page. The southwest corner is down 9%.
Well, I know you can buy some cheap land down there.
Oh, yeah, down there you can buy it.
But in central Kansas, I don't see there's been that much of a drop in ag land.
Commercial.
I've seen a couple of
Ag.
160s go for just under $5 an acre.
Yeah,
So,
and they wouldn't have done that a year ago.
Sell mine for 5 and 8.
Yeah. You got a buyer.
Most- most people would.
Sell it right there.
I've seen some grass go for 2,500.
I do that too.
Yeah.
So that's from.
You gotta sell it, man.
You know,
It's been all going through auctions though.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the trick. Just gotta go to the auction.
The realtor in Cottonwood Falls told me if I had grass in the right place, it could get over 2,500.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, out there.
Need to be selling.
South Cottonwood
Need to sell the
Falls.
family farm.
Of course, I sat and watched a farm auction the other day, and a tractor that was 20 years old brought 100-some thousand John Deere.
More than what it was worth to do.
It was 20 years old, it
That's
had
only-
real low hours on it.
That's only,
They brought like 102,000.
A couple of months ago, that, I don't know if anybody went to that one, but I was only there for an hour or two and left because it was beyond me. The guys at Abilene Machine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All those tractors.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, if you want to watch the RFD channel, they run those different auctions and meet them, and they were there. It just took my breath away. Most of those tractors were about 3 and 4 times what, you expect to pay for
Oh, yeah,
on
5
machine repeat.
5 times.
Wasn't even close.
Wow.
And people had money from somewhere.
So, wow, that's a receipt.
oh.
I walked away disappointed, thinking there's no way I'm gonna spend that for an old tractor. I need one, but not that bad.
How big a tractor do you use?
Well, they were all different ranges, anywhere from.
Most of them were considered, a lot of them were considered collectors because
Yeah.
they did the old tractor, I mean, not the old tractors, but the 60s, 70s in there.
And they had an 806 diesel that was pristine, and I forget what the hours were on it, and I was interested in that thing. Oh my God.
Come on in, Deidre. International.
Staying busy?
Yeah. I don't really have much to report, other than I'll turn in, this goes to Dr. Hodson, if he's taken over the
Okay.
report. And then, here's all my, from past years too.
Keeps
Oh, I love this picture.
Isn't it terrible?
Wow.
Oh,
Is that the one we're gonna frame that this was our?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
At least we should put them on TV.
I think.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think we need to attach it to a plaque.
Yeah, we should.
Say thanks for your years of service.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Deidre.
I did get approval from Christy Kane that the state formula and all the LEC grants have the 30-day extension. So that means all grants, aid to local, have that 30-day extension.
Good deal.
So, and then Christy Kane will probably, if she hasn't already, be getting in contact with commissioners.
Okay.
She's the local health department state representative.
Christy Kane.
Yeah. And I will forward this letter unless, no, I guess, Randy, you got a copy of this. So,
Deidre? This is, I hope, a good new start for you, final day for Marion County. But Marion County would like to say thanks for all that you've done for Marion for the year's service, and both as part-time and full-time, and stuff like that, so. We've done some things around here. I don't know how many years service this is, service pen to start with. 30, say 30?
There's 33, I think, is that?
Yeah, it's, I like
Service
that.
pen.
That's your retirement.
Thank you for the year's service. This from the commission, and this from the county employees. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
very much, and hope you good luck with whatever you do.
Well,
And I
thank
know you've
you.
got things lined up. We do have some business that we're gonna go ahead, and while you're here, just Doc Hodgson and stuff like that, and point some things, so if there's
Okay.
anything that you know different, go ahead and chime in. And
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
This is from everybody.
Thank you.
And first off is, I talked to Dr. Hodgson, and he's gonna be the interim health officer. I moved to appoint Dr. Hodgson as the interim health officer for Marion County effective at 5 p.m. on Monday, September 20th, 2021. Do I hear a second? Second by Kent Becker. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. And second one will be with the office personnel. Some of your people has offered to step up, and while we're in an interim here, help us out quite a bit, so we appreciate that very much too from those people. I move to authorize Jessica Gilbert to perform administrative duties for Marion County Health Department in accordance with established county policies and procedures, while the Health Department Director position is vacant beginning at 5 p.m. on Monday, September 20th, 2021. These duties include, but are not limited to, financial oversight, approval of invoices, staff schedule requests, and other administrative tasks being necessary. All Health Department personnel will continue their respective duties and other tasks necessary to ensure continuity of service under the supervision of the Board of Commissioners and Board of Public Health. That's my motion. Do I hear a second for that one? Second. Second by Jonah. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. And I move to appoint Dave Crowfoot on my third one as the primary contact with the office up there to help things go. And if Dave's not available, they can call me as a second point of contact for anything that the office personnel need up there. And the primary contact was Dave, and I'll be a secondary. Board of County Commissioners, Board of Public Health for the Health Department staff during the period of time that the Health Department Director position is vacant. This contact person will work to find answers to questions regarding policies and procedures in Marion County and/or outside agencies if requested by Health Department staff, and will be responsible for bringing any new necessary information before the Board of Public Health as needed for progress, reports, or decision-making for issues that arise outside the typical day-to-day operations. That is another motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Mueller. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
No, you don't have to.
You could vote.
Okay,
Just for
5-0.
clarification.
Yeah.
Just for clarification,
Yeah.
Commissioner Crowfoot's not getting paid, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he knows that.
No, he's already getting paid.
Not for this.
Not for this.
No compensation.
And does somebody else?
I would move to appoint, or authorize, that's a better word, authorize Dave Crowfoot to act in capacity to research interim incentives
With the existing personnel,
with the
for
existing,
purposes of compensation during the interim period.
just like that.
Just like that. Would you accept that?
Yep.
Okay, that is a motion by Jonah. Did everybody hear and understand the motion? Okay. I would second that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Now, did we do anything wrong, Deidre?
No, I think that's great. I know that some people at the office didn't want to officially, take over, but they're still gonna have increased duties because all the nursing, questions and all those issues that I got now that I fielded will go to the, that position. So when you research a compensation,
Yeah.
do keep that in mind.
Yes, so. Give us any late updates that you may have from anything.
Got a question on the website. Is it gonna be updated daily or weekly, you said?
The dashboard will be daily. It will be on the Facebook page daily.
Not on your website?
Well, if we can have someone trained, or if Tina thinks Judy can do that
I have a
daily.
suggestion on that. You
Okay.
know, I think we just link to the Facebook and say, for daily updates, please visit this Facebook site.
Okay,
There you
that's
go.
Link that to
perfect.
the website, and then
Perfect.
when Facebook is
You know what
updated, it's
Facebook is?
automatically
No, that's
updated.
Yeah.
the website.
Good idea.
That's last week's numbers.
Oh.
Right.
That's last Monday's numbers.
I think that works
That's
better
gonna be
anyway, because if
updated.
we just give them the link, that's the most up-to-date information without having to put it in multiple places.
Yeah.
What's
Okay,
what's
this
easier, doing the website or doing the Facebook?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Because that's
Well,
what
then
our
there's that.
staff, we had a staff trained on the county website, but they left. So we have to get someone else in that
'Cause
place.
you could do the reverse, but if it's easier to do the one, then I'd stick with the one that's
Yeah.
easier.
Because we have 2 employees that know how to post on Facebook. And so between those 2.
So what
and-
is the numbers today?
Today, I believe, when I did staff meeting, it was 54 with 1 hospitalization and 25
So it's down.
vital. Yeah,
And no new deaths.
not that we were aware of this morning. But the dashboard may come out with different numbers, because I haven't checked since 8 o'clock this morning.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
So do you want, since it's gonna be on Facebook, do you guys want the monthly, or I mean, the weekly statistics sent to Tina? Or do you wanna just check your county website?
Do we need to have a record of it? I mean, for some, you guys will have the record of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Every day will be on record at your office?
Right,
If somebody from somewhere questions us?
Right, we have a spreadsheet, and on that has all well, we have 2 different spreadsheets. One that keeps track of deaths and one that keeps track of active, or cases. And then when they're active, we put them as active. When they go inactive, when they're done with their isolation period, we change them to inactive. So then out to the right of that, of the case list, whatever day we do the press release or the dashboard, we write that, so we know up till this day, we reported out on, like, Monday the 20th.
Say for right now, is just use Facebook, because they've got enough other jobs to do.
But I'm worried about Tina getting a request from somebody. That, I don't know where it would be come from.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay, all right.
So Tina could just refer them to the Facebook link.
Yeah.
Maybe next month we can assign
And you got
somebody.
it on your phone.
Well-
Okay, if you can,
Get to Facebook?
yeah.
And if something comes up that
I'm not
needs to be
that big on
reported out,
Facebook
I'm sure
myself,
that
so
the staff will
I can't
listen.
answer.
So you did say 54, 1, and 25?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I got. Matches.
Is that what it said on the,
4 hours ago.
okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Cool.
So I do
Nothing
know
like
what I'm
proof.
talking about.
Making the proof in the pudding right here.
Yeah, yeah. So, any other questions?
I have none.
Blessings.
Well, thank you. I will turn in my keys when I leave this evening. I'll give those to Jess, and then, so, thank you.
Thank you
Have
for
a-
Thank you for all you've
And
done.
thank you for all your support. And I hope that you will support the staff, and if they have questions,
You know, like I told you to start, this is the first time in this department since I've sat here that we've had change. So it's new to, I think, everybody that I know, it's new to, so.
yeah.
But we'll get through it.
You'll get someone new, fresh ideas, and it'll just be. Now, I did want to point out in that badge, there is the Gets card, which is the phone, emergency telephone service, and that is made out to the health department. It's not my name. So I think it can be just passed on to.
Now, who do we have to contact once we do this? You know who we have to contact once we
Oh,
do this?
that form you gave us a couple weeks ago.
I will,
That
but
just
I'll
probably
give
needs to
you
go to
the
KDH.
paperwork on that,
Yeah.
all of
Okay.
that. So I think that's.
So long.
Yeah, yeah, and then,
Send us
and
a
then my.
postcard.
I will. I don't know if we'll have too many postcards where I'm gonna be, but, and the rule is 180 days for me, because I'm not quite old enough for the 60-day capers.
So you guys been 180 days in police?
Oh, no, but I won't answer my phone, and it's not just because I'm, so.
Very good. All the best.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. We're running a little bit ahead, but see, text her or something, Sharon.
Okay. Some of hers, maybe that she may not be able to have you act on before a certain time, I'm
No.
not sure.
She's online. Right?
Yes, she is. At least it looks like she is. So is Travis.
All right, we're not really used to running ahead.
It's all right. This is a good thing. We can do it all the time last year.
My bicep is-
He won't fit in that.
Little rub.
Yeah, a little rub, a little rub.
Rubbin's racing.
Something like that, yeah. There's Sharon right there. Right on in, Sharon. Come on.
Afternoon.
Sharon.
All right. Running early.
That's scary. It's kind of like, what can go wrong?
Yeah, don't mess it up.
I know,
Just-
don't
I
you?
just got put under pressure, Sharon. That's what it used to be. That's what they said.
I can have you each take one of these packets, please.
Paper kind of day.
That's what you sent us the other day. I mean,
Yes,
It's on-
this is, you did receive this by
Yes.
email?
Yes.
Yes.
But you need to go much to sleep.
Now. It's important.
It is.
Pretty interesting.
Yes.
Okay,
Decide to get here early after you've seen all the earliness.
Yep.
we're gonna keep it going. Okay, so in front of you, let's start with the solar energy memo. the public notice for this hearing was published on August 4th, 2021 in the Marion County Record, and also letters to city officials, township officials, since it covers the entire unincorporated portion of the county. I have one copy of that notice if you'd like to see it, and who all those were sent to. Okay, so the proposed amendments regarding the development of commercial solar facilities. The purpose of this memo is to provide suggested amendments to the Marion County zoning regulations to address how the county regulates solar energy systems through zoning. Currently, we don't have anything that would regulate commercial solar energy, so this is a brand new set of, or a brand new piece that would go into the existing zoning regulations.
I have one question. I hate to interrupt you, but you're gonna start it off here and you're bringing it up right off the get-go. You just don't make these up. Where did we come from with,
Sure.
with most of this?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Okay, so we've done research on surrounding counties, what they have for solar energy or alternative energy regulations. Also some other counties that are similar in size and population. Russ AV, our consultant, did a lot of work compiling a huge document that the Planning Commission pared down to include items that were more relevant to Marion County.
Okay. That's answered my question.
So this, what you have before you here is what the Planning Commission has sent forward as a recommendation to you for final approval. Are you interested in me reading through this?
No.
Okay.
I would.
We've all read through it.
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah.
Okay.
I just make a couple of comments. One,
Sure.
I appreciate the setting the standard at the 250 kilowatt and the 2 or more acres. That makes a good break. You know, individuals are gonna have smaller. Anything larger than that will most likely be commercial.
Right.
The 5 acre, 1 meg is kind of the popular one right now. They sit right next to a substation. Which also brings up the next point. I really appreciate the Planning Commission doing and working with the cities so that there is a process, because obviously a number of the substations are close to the cities.
Right.
But if it meets the approval of the city, it can still be, it's still possible
That's correct. So
through the proper channels.
if a municipality wished to have a solar facility just on the outskirts of their town, on the unincorporated side, then it would be a possibility if they bring that request to us or bring their approval of that request to us. Otherwise, there's kind of a protection around the immediate areas around the incorporated city limits.
As long as they got it on their books. Some of them don't have it.
But it leaves that option.
That's right.
And there's options both ways, pro and against, but it leaves the option.
That's right. It allows the governing body to take a look at the individual application, where it is in conjunction to other things, and assess it based on those facts.
So when it gets up there above that and a larger facility comes in, how is city government gonna be involved in the decision?
So that would go through the public hearing process. The application would be heard like any other zoning application, and if the city has resistance to it, or if they have concerns about it, or are interested in some additional conditions in that conditional use permit, then that would be assessed at the time of that public hearing.
Typically, would you foresee the city annexing area to put in, I mean,
I think that is typical.
okay. I mean, I'm still pretty new at KPP when I I was there, so it's.
Right. We all know that the tax dollars go to the actual entity or municipality that owns it, or that it sits on.
In reading through the minutes, it looked like the commission had a really thorough discussion. There were a lot of questions that were good. Yeah. And answered.
Yes, yes.
So that record of proceedings was really helpful. I didn't have to watch the 2-hour version. I could just read the summary. But it's shows a good record. The questions were asked. A lot of good questions.
The planning commission board that we have right now is very diverse. They come from all different backgrounds, had great questions. There was a lot of discussion. They did a thorough job of evaluating what was put before them.
They're popping up everywhere. A couple of year and a half ago or so, last time I was out west, working there was brand new and popping up there, at least 20 to 40 acres. Then there's one over there in Harvey County, East Lake out there now. I don't know.
It's about 5 acres.
5 acres, something to that effect. I'm just wondering if there's any problems that we need to address with maybe something new coming up that we're not addressing. I don't know how you can find that out even.
Similar to the wind regulations, the wind energy conversion regulations that we have that started out as we're gonna make a best attempt at setting some regulations, and it will be kind of a working document. When you find problems, you go through the public process and make amendments, make revisions. You know, technology changes, that pushes some text changes in our regulations. We find things that work, what don't work.
I like how, I think I read it in the minutes, but it was basically setting it was on the height. And basically it's setting a baseline.
Right.
But the CUP could allow for a little bit of variance to it.
It's kind of like wind farms, and after the 3 to 5 years, any issues that pop up will have popped up by then, I would guess.
But at least there now is something. And I think they've done a good job. So our next step, if we approve this county commission, then there's a publication and a timeline.
Right. So if this governing body approves what the planning commission has recommended for approval, then it'll be published in the newspaper. At that point, it's adopted, it's effective. If an application comes in for a conditional use permit for a utility solar energy facility, then it would be heard at a public hearing.
Do we adopt these by resolution?
Yes.
Text them. So you have the resolutions with you?
I do.
Okay, because I was like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I do, and I need to send you a Word version of this also.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to make sure I
Yes.
understood.
Sorry, Tina.
That's okay. Let me get the resolution numbers real quick.
Yes.
You've done this before.
I'll stop writing it down.
Couple times.
Sure, have you started yet to
I think.
confine animal feeding when,
No.
we haven't talked about that yet, have we?
That will be the next topic
Okay.
today.
That's where the questions come.
Okay.
This one basically calls out for commercial to be sale of, right?
That's right. It's,
So if you were a commercial business, I just want to clear that air. If you were a commercial business and you were trying to shave your grid, you wouldn't have to go through all these hoops. Because you're not trying to sell back on the grid.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's why it's capped at a certain nameplate capacity and an acreage. So if you have a couple of acres out in the country and you want to put up a solar system to run your farm,
Couple
that's
acres
fine.
of rooftop in your commercial facility.
The only question I have about that, and that's, I didn't get an answer from them, so I hadn't called you about it yet. With Evergy, they're mandated by the KCC to take it back. So even if you are an individual like I have them out on the farm all over every barn, and don't use that up and I've got an excess amount, it is to be reversed and purchased back. So we have that potential commercial transaction, and I'm not sure what gets done with that. That gets beyond me really quickly, and whether that then qualifies the way we've defined it or not.
We solved because that wasn't the intent. It's
Just making sure we
Right.
don't run into a
Right.
problem.
That power goes back into the grid, so then it's, once again, a commodity. But here, that's what this new language is proposing as, it defines what a private system is, and it differentiates from what a utility scale facility is. If the utility
Okay.
company is buying back from
Primary
individual
purpose kind of covers
property-
it.
Yep.
Yeah, yep.
Sure, I ironed it out.
Do we have
Good
a
question.
resolution number?
I do have, I just wasn't sure if you were ready to move forward. It's 2021-21 was the next resolution.
Oh, 21.
It is a lucky day.
Yes.
I did too.
Well, let me
I
check.
thought we had 20 and 21 together.
Let me make sure, but all I have in here is, was, the last one was the R&R. It's the last one recorded on my index, and it was 20.
Is there any other discussion? By anybody else?
I'm ready to move forward with the motion.
Is everybody ready to move forward? Just asking. Okay, Commissioner Mueller.
I moved Resolution 2021-21, the proposed amendments regarding development of commercial solar farms.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Mueller to adopt. This is resolution number 2021-21. Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second it.
Dave Crowfoot seconded. I'm gonna ask each commissioner by name, yay or nay. Jonah Gehring. Yay. Dave Crowfoot.
Yay.
Dave Mueller.
Yay.
Kent Becker.
Yay.
Randy Dalkey. Yay. 5-0.
Thank you, planning commission, for the work.
I will, they did an excellent
Just not
job.
on that.
Off topic, maybe, I mean, it's,
Yeah, motion.
you got a bunch of motions that are 10-0. Are you short somebody?
Yes.
We have one open in District 3.
Okay.
We need to keep reminding District 3.
He's still looking.
We could get some in the same District 2 next year.
At large, I guess.
I know. I'm just the way I'm just teasing.
We'll have an at-large position if we have some sort of conflict.
Just made it easy.
Oh, that's what it is.
Next year. Even with 1-year extension, just to get through it.
We are rounding the corner on a new year, so
Yeah.
it's a good idea to be looking for and thinking about people that would be willing to serve on the board.
Yeah, I've got one short.
I'm gonna have one short. Picked up this year, not next.
But you can't run again. Couldn't expect,
She has to
you're gonna miss her.
I am.
Push it down the road.
She'll have to take a, what is it, a 1-year break? And
That'd be
then
better.
take that again.
Move to third district.
Yeah, she's way too far south in the country. She would never move. Country girl.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Sharon.
so if you're ready, let's move to the CAFA regulations, confined animal feeding operations. And again, this was published August 4th, 2021, letter for to township and city officials as required by law. The public hearing was held on August 26th. And what you have before you is the recommendation from the planning commission.
Feedlot commercial, is that struck completely, number 94 under your definitions in 1104?
Yes,
Struck.
so
Out.
struck out.
Feedlots are now agricultural processing facilities.
Which under H on the next page, I was trying to figure that out. Operation or maintenance of a commercial stockyard or agricultural processing, comma.
Yes, so what,
Unless specifically authorized.
and it may be easier to look at on an actual resolution.
Yeah.
But the existing language shows Article 1-104 9H. The proposed new language shows 9, and then H would read, the operation or maintenance of a commercial stockyard or agricultural processing unless specifically authorized by a conditional use permit only after they have been reviewed and approved as required by Article 19. So it differentiates some other types of processing facilities. It defines agricultural processing as the commercial aggregation, storage, processing, and distribution of farm products. Examples include a grain elevator, livestock auction yard, commercial stockyard, commercial slaughter facility, or rendering plant. This definition shall not include processing of farm products for non-retail or non-wholesale personal consumption. So this would be your rendering plants, the great big stockyards outside of a processing facility.
And then was there discussion, I did not read through all the minutes in that regard, so I apologize, on a definition or some clarification under commercial stockyard for temporarily. I just ran into this elsewhere, where they use it as a finishing lot, and they don't just put them in there for, you know, that short-term hold. They'll do 90 days, and they argued that that was temporary in nature because it was a stockyard intended for ship, as opposed to, you know, the long-term feeding.
There was-
Hold them for 90 days, and they call it.
A finishing lot.
That's a feed lot.
Yeah, that was a finishing lot.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a lot of discussion based on numbers and locations.
I'm just wondering if we
Technically-
stuck anything in there to define temporary. That's what I wasn't finding, that's all.
I don't know that we mentioned temporary in the proposed language. But essentially, that's what a feedlot is. It's the feeding out, they're temporarily raising and feeding out cattle to be sent to the processing facility. So, in essence, these proposed regulations are saying that we're not going to regulate feedlots.
Okay.
If they had 500 head over, and that went over your limit for your facility, 500 head, just because it's temporary, does that allow that to happen? It shouldn't, should it?
They become subject to KDHE and federal permitting requirements.
Because it's all
And if
numbered
they're,
in, right?
that, yeah, it has to do with animal units, which has to do with the amount of waste produced and whether they require a man-made waste facility or not, or if they have potential for excessive amounts of waste.
Chapter 65 has definitional sections in it for that purpose.
Yes, so even if they have a large cattle operation and they're just raising breeders out in pasture,
Yeah.
if they're over a certain number, they're still required to report that to KDHE and possibly have a federal permit, depending on the waste that's produced.
The one that I was dealing with was unusual in that it related to dairy operation. It went from a source in Guyman, I think that about 14,000 head, and once they reach that first year and they're potentially breedable, if they're still open, they sent them to this facility, took another shot at breeding them. If they didn't breed, then they were for slaughter. Their argument was, it's a temporary hold, and they went through a fairly significant bunch of argument over that. So that's why I'm asking, the temporary thing solves a lot of problems.
Yes, and it's really hard to catch something like that though, too. I mean,
The only reason I
unless
did is because I've got
someone-
confronted with it. But
Right. Yeah, I mean, the minimum EPA thresholds that require an NPDES permit, they have the numbers listed out. 700 head of mature dairy cows, 1,000 head of veal calves, 1,000 head of mature dairy cows. I mean, it goes on and on and on. 125,000 chickens or laying hens. There's a conversion chart for the number and what type of animal it is.
what our state, interestingly enough, has forgotten, because they weren't a dairy farmer, is an open heifer, first-time open heifer. And when you go through that, because I was looking for it so I could answer the question and solve the problem, it's not there. So then we got into the argument over wells. Is it finishing or not? Is 90 days too long or not? So that's why I asked.
There are very possibly some gray areas.
Yeah.
But the basic thrust of the change for the layman is commercial feedlots are covered under KDHE and EPA.
Mhm.
Right.
And there really is no room for local
Regulation.
regulation.
Well,
And that's where the conflict has come.
that's
So
where
it
our
would be-
conversations have been had, yeah.
So this amendment is bringing everything in line. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, that's correct.
Trying to keep us out of an area that we're really not authorized to go
Right.
to yet, but they haven't precluded
Right.
completely. So this should,
This brings us
start solve all of those problems.
It's a fairly protected industry.
Yeah. And they limit our capacity to do much anyway.
That's right. Do you have any other questions?
You have a resolution ready for this one as well?
Yes, sir. And I'll get that to you as well, Tina.
Any other discussion? Please speak up if you have any. Do I hear any? Okay. Pass another resolution down.
Will that be 2021-22?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
All righty, go ahead.
I move resolution 2021-22 regarding confined animal feeding operations.
Second by Kent Becker. Motion made by Commissioner Mueller, David Mueller. Final discussion, if any? If none, I will again ask each person by name. Randy Dalkey, yay. Kent Becker.
Yay.
David Mueller.
Yay.
Dave Crowfoot.
Okay.
Jonah Gehring. 5-0.
All those months of work, it's just 5 minutes. Done.
That's okay, that means the planning commission did a good job of evaluating.
Now you don't have those conflicting lists.
Right. Yeah, that definitely squares our regulations up a little better. It makes them more.
Will put you in a bad situation. Awkward situation.
Right, right.
Sharon, just for clarification, that takes care of feedlots, doesn't it?
Yes.
So we could put
Yes,
a red line
the
right
red
there.
pin.
And solar.
And solar.
Under the policies.
What
Under
else?
the policy.
What else am I on up there?
That's it. That's all P and Z.
Brad's just trying to take credit because it's on his
I just-
board.
He's
taking
taking
credit.
Absolutely not. Just marking something off.
Make sure you put the date there, yeah.
It feels nice to make progress. Do you have anything else for me today? Any other questions?
No, I stopped by and talked to Sharon the other day, and just a heads up, we discussed a couple things, and I think she's gonna come back to us and present us sort of a list of, other than wind farm deal, and it's just some checkpoints, and have some things that it's already, that they're supposed to do, and maybe some of the rules that they're supposed to pertain to, like road agreements and things like that, because we wanna keep ourselves up on that here coming up. So, thank you, Sharon, for everything you do, and getting this all, and the board too. The board is just as much a part of this as anybody, so.
All right, I'll pass the word back to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a good afternoon.
You too, Sharon.
That's all you try.
Moving along.
Now, you're not gonna mess our day up, are you?
No, sir.
Okay, all
Don't
right.
believe I will.
Okay. Well, you got the floor, so go right ahead.
Thank you, sir. Make sure I have everything I need here. Up on the screen, I think you guys have access to our run, our call volume. We're kind of getting back on the pace where we were. We had some slow months with COVID. A lot of people didn't want to go to hospitals, things of that nature. So really, we're projected to be right around where we were last year, which is just shy of 1,300 calls for the year. We're well on pace for that. Nothing really out of the ordinary with that. So I have financial report. If you pass that around. All right, you can keep them all, and you and I'll go over them. So.
Sometimes that end of the board wants you to do some things, just pass them on them. Make sure this end of the board gets.
Yeah, I think I even have one for Tina in there. Make sure of that. So on this quarterly report, you'll see that we had a balance on our accounts receivable up there of $193,701.47. And then what we billed out, or what was we charged during this quarter, was $249,815.70, and then we received, including write-offs, refunds, all the credits, we received $235,704, and that makes our account receivable
balance roll over to $210,052.74. That's kind of the number, if you look back over the last couple of years, that's kind of the number that keeps hanging out in there. Just as insurance companies are trying to catch up and we're behind and we're trying to chase down some leads to get finances, and that's kind of it pretty much lines up with where we're normally at, so.
Normal cash flow.
Yep, pretty much. Yep. Nothing jumps out as anything to alarm us, anything of that nature, so. There's a multitude of reports that I can run that they show exactly which insurance company is paying how much. You know, if that's something the commission would like, I don't spend a lot of time reading it, but I do look at it from time to time, so it's not very exciting. But. And then along with that, quarterly we have our write-offs. I know, right? Every time. And, well, now, John, with that being said, note that on there when we have write-off adjustments and write-off reversals, that even after we take official here, we're done spending money on stamps, that kind of thing. We're still making an attempt to collect. It's just, I'm not
Near as bad as it had been.
Right, we're just not sending the bill every month to somebody that's not receiving it, so. There are ways we still continue to try and recover our money, so. And you're right, Commissioner Becker, there certainly have been worse quarters than this as far as write-offs go. Again, you can see no supplemental. That seems to be a real common thing. Insurance pays so much. Anything above that's up to the patient. If they don't have supplemental, we take payments. We have patients deceased, no assets, things of that nature. Kind of leaves us where we're at on a lot of these. You can also note that some of them reside in the Marion County Jail more often than anywhere else. So, again, hard for them to have financial income while they're, I don't know, Sheriff Kraft won't allow them out to go to work.
Didn't pay well.
Yeah, not paying them well, so. With that, I would request that you guys approve the write-off.
I'll make a motion to charge off $9,835.73 as of 9/20.
Have Commissioner Becker made the motion to do write-offs, and I see David Mueller's hand up, I suppose, for a second. So, all those in favor of that, say aye.
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 All right, thank you.
I have one question, though.
Yes, sir.
So we're on the same page, 210,000 good to the year so far, correct? Down here on the bottom?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Balance.
that's just the running
That's
balance.
the balance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're hoping for a 400 and some thousand? Is that normal
And
still?
that number is not reflected on this paper per se, Randy.
Right, I know that, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
I think
that-
we're well on track to be where we normally are. This is just what's happened in the quarter where we came in with 193,000, we billed out and received
Right.
235.
Right.
And we're still carrying right around 200. With that, we did receive the 235 for a quarter. We generally figure 500,000-ish in our budgetary.
Okay. That's what I was
And Tina
thinking.
can probably answer that better than I am. but-
Yearly total.
We actually bumped it, I think.
Did we?
We bumped it, yeah.
Okay. But I think we're well, again, number. I also have a report that gives call types, and as the ALS2 charges, we carry more of those. There's certainly more revenue there because it's a more intensive
Right.
call. But yeah, I think we're well on pace, Commissioner.
Okay, and that's, whether it should go up or not, but due to COVID this last year, I don't know where it's throwing us in this.
Yeah, and again, from the state level, what we looked at, well, it's been a little bit since we had a meeting, but the last one was the 2 years after we start to see it smooth back out, if you will. We'll see a fluctuation, and why it does that exactly, I'm not 100%.
Right.
They aren't either, but it definitely, after a big event, the things, they take their ups and downs, so.
and Tina's probably gonna answer your question more directly.
No, that's all right. I ran some numbers over the weekend for the ambulance funds, which I haven't had a chance to talk to Travis about, just
Sure.
because I'm keeping track of their budget and the building expenses and all of that.
Right.
She's watching me like a hawk to make sure, as the building evolves here. We currently don't have a lot in that line item, but that's something that Tina and I are gonna work through.
Yeah, we want to look at republishing the budget and to where we have authority to spend and trying to analyze
year,
whether we
right,
need,
for this
right,
year. Okay.
and trying to analyze whether a lease purchase is necessary or not, so, or how much it would be.
And, yeah, I don't wanna speak out of turn, Tina, but we work hard not to spend a lot and to be able to move some money around, and that might
Right.
be feasible.
I think it is. So right now, through August, the department has service fees received of $422,109.98 out of a budget of $503,000.
530.
So $503. So, and it'll be a bit larger than that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
With the building, just update, they've got the concrete, the building slab is poured, obviously the plumbing's roughed in prior to that, but that's all done. This week they will start on site paving. There was a bit of a hang up with the buildings on site. There was a delay in getting the guys there to start erecting the building. So that gave time for the site concrete to go ahead and get started yet this week.
Good.
Or this morning, and they were getting going on that. I know Commissioner Dalkey and I had looked at, and I think John stopped by and looked at some different grade things. And looking today and with the engineers, we are within ADA slope compliance. So it really turned out better than what we had originally looked at by dropping one side down on that north side, dropping it down 5 inches. We're certainly within ADA. Working with the city on the sidewalk and lining our concretes up. Yeah, so far so good. One technical error on the concrete in the shop area, but I was assured that will be, basically it was an error on their part. The surface that is there will be ground, and an epoxy floor will go down. It's $6,000, but it's on the contractor, not on us. So we're getting an upgrade for guys.
So when we say technical error, I was there the next morning and, boy,
Yeah.
I mean, it sure don't make the job look pretty.
Right. And I visit with them quite a bit, Randy, and they do a lot. I say a lot. I don't know what percentage of their business. I'm not in their business, but what percentage is actually refinishing old concrete, things of that nature. It sounded like a significant amount in talking to them that they will make it right. They certainly know how to fix those things.
Too rough.
Well, they started in the dark, under the lights. They were working around the floor drain. You gotta understand, we're gonna have polished floors in our living area, kitchen, office, bathrooms are all polished concrete. Obviously, you wanna get that as close as you can to perfect. So they get started on that end. They work their way to the ambulance bay. They have some trouble around the floor drain, which is a center floor drain. They're having some trouble. Sun pops up. They're having to water it. By the time they get over to power trowel, the one area, or the one strip, they realize what happened, and it got worked too much. Pulled the liquid up, and the rest is history. So I was assured they'll make it right.
Okay, no, I mean, it's only fair we talk about it right here, is that 5 years down the road, what kind of guarantee we gonna get? I don't know.
It's certainly a valid question. The only guarantees I know about
1 year.
concrete is it gets hard and cracks. Right. So there's really
Guaranteed.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. But no, I respect what you're saying, Randy. I can certainly look into that. I think the epoxy side is not new.
But I don't know what the wear life is. I expect that concrete to be there. Well, you look at out here at the other building in Marion, there's no problems.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, that's what I would expect from the building in
Sure.
Hillsborough.
And
But if this epoxy turns loose in 5 years is what my concern is.
can I clarify?
Yes.
Okay, so the area that did the delamination, that they're not just gonna put something over it. That area will be fixed, but it's not gonna match the other, so that's why they're grinding everything and then doing an epoxy. It won't,
I see what you're saying.
anybody that hasn't seen it won't be able to locate where
Right,
that was. But yeah, they're certainly fixing that area
Okay.
and then going over the top with an epoxy sealant.
Okay.
So, yeah, or it's not a Band-Aid.
Okay. Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to get at.
Easy-
Okay,
easy
yeah, and I
to
probably
compare.
didn't articulate that correctly for you, but,
Yeah.
um,
That's just another, if we don't take care of it now, have
Absolutely.
something down on paper,
yep,
why then we'll be sorry later, man.
no, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
We sealed our floor in our production building 35 years ago. It's still shiny.
Yeah, this is more than sealed, Dave.
Yeah,
This
well, I
is
know,
actually,
epoxy, yeah.
it's hunks out of it and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, and again, Randy, they will go deep, fix that,
And come back.
and then
with
come
something.
back and
Okay.
put a coat over the top for
Well, I
us. so.
didn't have a clue what they was gonna do.
Yep,
but
yep.
It's not pretty.
For sure.
The
I
rest
mean,
of it's pretty, but.
yeah, they seem very reputable.
Yeah.
I think they'll do it right. We'll make sure they do.
Okay.
So, as far as the metal building that is on site,
That's good.
yeah, it's there ready. I don't know if we're a couple weeks probably from starting the erection of the steel building.
We already did the payment application for that, the payment application for concrete and earthwork.
Yeah.
We've been kind of watching it as.
Well, and again, that's where Tina and I need to sit down, but we've had the conversation of where are we gonna pay for it? You know, we had X amount in the line item, if we can move money around, republish it and get it all paid for without,
Okay, you have no ambulance budgeted this year, correct?
2021,
Yeah.
no ambulance.
No new unit?
2022, we have a new unit.
Okay. That's one of my subjects I'd like to talk about whenever you get done.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all, basically the update I have.
Well, we visited with other counties, and there's this AR money that we've got, they're buying a unit out of, a COVID unit. There, again. So I'm just wondering what information may think of something to that effect towards our budget and money. Whether it be a truck, whether it be whatever, kind of ambulance.
Well, it's gotta serve purposes, gotta do a sterilization setup in itself, and that kind of stuff to make it.
Yeah.
Well,
So I don't know whether you'd like.
And I'm sorry, Randy, I was catching some noise out here, but you stated another county had spent money out of.
American Rescue Funds.
Okay, okay,
Like there's $2 million you have to spend.
okay.
So I just wondered how the commission's feeling, whether they would be interested in pursuing something too. This, you know, coming down the line to where, but it's not out this year's budget, that's why I was asking whether it's
Right.
one for this year, but we've got 4 years, 3 years, 4 years to spend this.
Would this be where you'd like a 4-wheel drive one?
Well,
We're actively, last week I met with a manufacturer, we're actively looking at different designs, different things. The type 1 is a pickup chassis, 4-wheel drive.
Ride smoother?
Liquid spring, it actually does ride a lot smoother. It's number 1 complaint we get, so they ride rough. But we're actually, a group of us are trying to put some stuff together and look at what we would like in an ambulance, what we think would benefit the service, benefit the county as a whole. And certainly 4-wheel drive is on that list. I think we're, and really wasn't planning on discussing a lot of this today, but I appreciate what you're saying, Randy. But with that, we've kind of been, I've been dealt a little different scenario here where 2 of them were bought at the same time. And that's a bridge we're going to cross when we get there. I'll bring some options and we'll look at some different stuff and we'll do what you guys and including myself feel is best and hopefully work together on that.
So I guess maybe what Randy was going towards, if you would investigate a COVID
Sure.
equipped ambulance that would apply under those funds?
Yeah, and I just,
If that's something that you feel possible, or if not, then you can advise us.
Yeah.
sure,
We're just looking for information.
yeah, I'd certainly, look, if there's money out there to be
Right.
spent and it makes sense, I mean,
Right. And if it's helpful to your team, if it's helpful
Sure.
to the patient,
It-
then it's something.
absolutely.
I guess I think Randy is asking, and I would agree with him, is just investigate it,
Yeah.
of course.
It's one of the puzzle pieces that's
Yeah,
been talked about.
it's a puzzle piece.
So
Sure.
we need all those puzzle pieces to see where we wind up.
If you can provide us some information,
I'd be
one way
happy
or
to,
another.
It's just we've got a little more time to spend it.
Right. But at
It's
the
not a
same,
rush,
at the
Yeah.
same time, you're looking at your options.
right,
Throw that in as
right,
one of the things you're looking at.
yeah.
I just wanna keep the door open, I don't wanna
Yeah.
shut the door yet.
Yeah.
That's why I'm keeping him advised right now of what.
Well, and there's a couple sales representatives that are good at this, as they, I mean, as they watch other places spending
Yeah.
money, they're calling me to ask
Yeah.
what my commission's doing.
Yeah.
So are they doing anything with this money? You know, so again, there's good avenues of learning out there and networking, so.
But just remember, we just opened up a little bit, we didn't open it wide open, okay?
Not going the whole way, I understand that,
All right.
so.
You gotta get all the pieces.
What's
See
that?
which one gets cut.
Go ahead.
I guess I did have one other item that I want to touch on, and then I think really to dive into, I would want to, I don't know how I want to do it, maybe you guys tell me the best way, but we currently have 24-hour staff employees gaining benefit hours at the rate of a 40-hour work week, working an 8-hour shift. So when we give them 40 hours of vacation, they technically can have one full day a year off. The industry standard for 24-hour shift personnel is to gain 12 hours of vacation and 12 hours of sick leave accrued monthly, with a maximum of 360 hours of vacation, 720 of sick leave. In the event somebody needs time off, we look at doing shift trades, finding a way for them to be able to take a day off, switch within the same pay period. It doesn't affect anything. It's not a big deal. The reason, and I knew this the day I walked in, we didn't have staffing to the point that was feasible. At the point, we only had 4 people as minimum staff and maximum staff. If we were to allow for more vacation, those people, then it was costing us overtime because I was having to hire somebody back or I was working, whatever the case be. Now with the supervisor position, if somebody were to take vacation, we simply move that supervisor back to an ambulance and we have our staffing, there's no overtime incurred. I know that's not what's standard within the county system. I think it's something that we need to be fair to our employees. I mean, it is the industry standard when working 24-hour shifts. I think it's something we need to, I say brainstorm. I can show you in black and white what the standard is. How it fits into Marion County's plan, how it fits into the system, the tracking system, things of that nature. We certainly need to address that, or I would ask that we address that.
It'd be a recruiting tool, which we retain people.
It certainly isn't gonna hurt retention. Recruitment, I did have one person ask, but a lot of people, I don't know if this is right, but I just don't mention a whole lot that it's not that way, if they don't ask. But again, that doesn't sound very good, but I try and work with them. If they need the time off, then we try and do a trade. I mean, that's the best I can offer them right now. We've had people in the past that are over their hours of vacation, and it's because they don't want to take them in the event they want to go on a cruise and they're going to need 3 days off. They've got to save those hours, right? I mean, to take 2 days off is 48 hours, and that's, you can't do that the second year of employment. So.
But accrue up to 320 hours?
360 hours of
360
vacation.
hours of vacation?
Yes, sir.
That's over 40-some days. A lot more than that even.
Of
He's talking 24 hours.
24 hours a day, that would actually be 15 days.
Yeah, I understand that, but I've got a whole bunch of people out here working a whole different bunch of hours than this, and, I mean, I gotta be fair to my other employees too. If I'm gonna have it somewhere, I'm going back to 8 hours a day. I mean, it's just interesting that somebody would think that 360 hours of vacation.
Maybe come back with a better.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
illustration.
I thought we were on the same page at one time, but maybe I need to come back with a spreadsheet.
I think some of us understand and some will have a different picture.
I mean,
You know what
is that not what everybody else thinks? I mean,
It's 24 hours,
Each
yeah.
day's 24. It's not 8 hours, it's 24.
If they take it,
Okay.
24 hours.
It's 24 hours that they lose.
Yeah,
They use 24 hours.
in one day.
I guess I'll ask for more background information.
Sure.
I think that's good.
And again, I think that was my point was, yeah.
You planted the
I
seed.
planted the seed,
We'll let
there's
it grow
years
now.
turning, and maybe, I thought I planted the seed one other time, but that's all right, we will.
Yeah.
We'll move forward with it. I'll
Last
get
time
some
was on
information.
concrete, this time.
Sure. Yeah.
There's some cracks in there.
Sure, I understand. Sorry.
it's all right. I just wanna treat my whole county the same somehow. Maybe I can't do that. I'm not saying I can.
Yeah, and
But,
Commissioner Dahl, yeah, I don't disagree, and if you look at it reverse engineered, then we certainly aren't treating them fair now.
Yeah.
Only
It works both ways.
Yeah, so.
any other questions?
We'll figure something.
All right,
Have a good day.
thank you. Guys, have a good day.
All righty, moving on here.
It's totally screwy. It's a 24-hour shift. What?
Like law enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
The 48-hour week. Theirs, take a day off, you just lost 24 hours of accrued vacation. And so it makes it really hard. You say, well, I'm gonna take off a week. Your average employee here is losing 40 hours.
No.
I take the 24
Today?
times 7,
with the
and
presentation.
suddenly
Oh.
it looks worse.
I've got it on a thumb drive if that helps you.
Okay.
The average employee is about 60.
Yeah, once I'm in here, I'm not looking at it now.
Okay.
Right.
I heard a crowd in the hallway and I thought they were with you. I'm going, wow.
It wasn't with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was out there, but it wasn't with me.
Okay.
You know, they would have more hours.
Right.
Yeah, it's finding something to adjust that because of what they do on duty.
That's why we draw that on a big board there, so I can see it both sides of the board there.
That's why when he said that, I thought it was a good idea for him to bring it.
Okay, Randy?
Good morning, or after afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's been a long day. I think there's something there.
Okay.
This is, oh, these are the slides that we'll be talking about. So you can scribble on if you want, but, this Saturday, yep, that's the one.
I don't know how to show it.
Does it have a full screen?
Do you?
Kind of in the middle? I don't either. In the lower, sometimes it pops up on here.
You mean show it this, we go to the slideshow in the beginning?
There you go.
I want to. Okay.
It's here.
First couple pages are really quick. Obviously, we're talking about Father Neil Capon, Pilsen priests. If you want to go to the next slide, there it is. Father Capon served in 2 wars. He served in World War II and also in Korea. He became a POW in Korea and passed away in the POW camp. If we'll go to the next one. This is the timeline as of this point. It continues to change. The only thing that we know for sure is the first 2. And then everything is estimated after when the airplane lands. At one time, they were going to use the airplane dock to fly him in here. That's not going to work now because something wrong with the engine. So it's not going to work, so that's not an option. But we do know that at 8 o'clock in the morning in Pilsen, the American Legion and the veterans will be showing up and they'll be putting up flags. They're going to start at 275th and go as far as they can. They're hoping to get to 270, half a mile worth of flags for this event. And then around the church as well. We'll set up the mobile command center at that time, so we started orchestrating this event. At 11:54, American Airlines is scheduled to arrive in Wichita with Father Capon in Dallas, Texas.
Good luck on that.
Well, that's where everything becomes iffy at this point. We don't know if it's going to show up on time or early or late. So then everything else is an estimated time. Once they do land there, there'll be military honors and Catholic ceremony on the ramp next to the airplane. On the ramp, there'll be that going on. In the first part, when the father lands, the American Legion riders will start their ride then. We're trying to build a 45-minute cushion, so we get them in and get them parked before the hearse and everything else shows up. So we're trying to give them that cushion. Father Capon will be transported to Pilsen approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we anticipate the American Legion riders to show up at 1:15. Between 2 and 2:30, Father Capon will show up in Pilsen in the traffic. It is hopefully less traffic because it is a Saturday, so we're hoping it's not so bad. Then again, once he arrives there, there'll be military honors and Catholic ceremony once again. The ceremony will be up in the church. They say it's the last 15 to 20 minutes long, the service that they have planned for him. And then the viewing will be open to the public at that point. On the next day, it's church activities about Father Capon and things that they do within the Catholic Church. And then on Monday, he'll return back to Wichita. He'll be leaving around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, heading back to Wichita for the events that they'll have there in Wichita. Just want to remind everyone, there are no food and drink vendors in Pilsen, unless you want to count the one Coke machine on the corner. That's the only one there is. There are very limited porta potties, so they can take care of it before you come. that may be a necessity. Thank you. She's quick. This is the schematic of how the whole thing goes together. And the unified command that we have, Mr. Mueller will use you as the liaison because it's your district. And we felt that you'd be the best person to do that. We've got the EMS, the fire, the law enforcement folks all involved. KDOT's going to help us with traffic control at 56 and K15 and also 56 Wheelington, along with the Sheriff's Department. Because there will be 2 different groups coming through, the American Legion Riders and of course the hearse and that's dignitary group coming through.
They gonna stop traffic on 56, people to make the turn?
At Remington, yes. Down at K15, it's already a curve.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they have to, they'll stop traffic, but most of them will be able to just make that curve. That's a benefit to us in this process.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have KDOT there as well. They'll be helping out with that. What was that? The Hillsborough PD won't be participating, but they're there in case he needs extra people. They've already made the arrangements, so they need extra people. Same thing with the fire departments. Pilsen's in 2 different fire districts, Tampa and Lincolnville, so they're both there. So if, as the rules are set up with automatic aid, let's say they're not going to move, I got real wood in here, that there's a house or structure fire, then they do automatic aid and they call out additional, and that's why all the different fire departments are, the different automatic aids for that area. We listed obviously the First Infantry Division is involved in this pretty heavily, the American Legion Riders and the Catholic Church. And then also, 3rd Brigade, which is out of Fort Hood, they'll be participating with the 1st Infantry Division. The next slide, this is how everything's coming into Marion County. It's gonna come down 135, just north of Newton, take that exit, and I think it's 34, I have to go look. I'll put you on K-15. Put you on K-15, you'll come up north past Gossel to 56 and 15, and then work your way through. We chose this route because it's all state highway and it's in really good shape. And then I spoke with Bryce a few minutes ago, and he says his roads, what he's working on, should be done by Thursday or Friday with painting and everything. So they pretty much have done that. Say again?
It'll be fresh.
Yes, it will. The next slide, please. Thank you. This is Pilsen in its all its glory. There are numerous. This part here is for the media to park in. This is for local churchgoers. That's for general public, and that's for local churchgoers. We'll set up our infrastructure within here, law enforcement, EMS, and everyone else. They'll all be parked there. This is for VIP parking and handicap parking. And when they told me this were handicap parking, I suggested they might want to move it a little closer because people in wheelchairs and walkers don't want to walk across the gravel. They said, good point. So they hadn't told me where they're going to move it to, but they were going to move it. So porta potties, of course, and up further north is the county building that we truly don't anticipate using. The workshop up there. We have no desire. Yeah, we have no desire to, but I marked it anyhow just so I know where it was at on the map. So we have no interest in using it. And speaking to Bryce, I think they're going to block the driveways up. I think that's what his decision was to do. Because we don't need it, and I think it's a releasing liability for us if we block it off and don't just let anyone park in there. This is current as of now. We have another meeting on Wednesday to discuss more, so we'll see what new changes happen, and then I have another one on Friday. So I actually expect changes to happen on Saturday, as they usually do for big events. And that's where we're at right now. The church is in charge of all the parking because it's on private property and church property, so we have no interest in being there. So they'll take care of all that themselves.
Any other questions? By anybody, Ken? Anybody? If not, I guess, good job, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Please say that on Tuesday, okay? It's all over.
I think the intention for me was, for the county area, is if something goes wrong, Randy, that you always could use that spot up there. If something goes wrong, whatever. Keep it back through your back pocket's what I was.
We also bringing in a gentleman from Topeka who is a wildland fire aviation boss, and he's going to help manage the drones because we know we got 6 of them coming in. Thank you. We did ask the media, the 3 TV stations, if they would share drone, and they said they've done it before, and I said, please do it again. Don't know if they've agreed to do it again, but I asked them, please do it again. Because that brings down to 4 drones instead of 6, so that'll be on for it.
All right.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Make sure the camera survives all the way to the ground.
Get on out of here. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. I'm trying to figure out why I was last, and I think I found out because I've been talking too much, and now you'll say, you know what, we've got to get going.
You know, if you notice, we're almost on time, not quite.
Yeah.
We're close.
Yeah.
Closer than
Well, you know what's ironic?
We were ahead.
Yeah. Ironic part about it is I don't have an awful lot to go over today. Anyway, so. All right, I got the cost sheet ready to go. I got some letters of recommendation. I guess you have some more also. Got a couple?
17.
You have 17?
I have 17.
Wow, and how many did you have?
I
7?
don't think I had 10,
10?
but
Okay.
3 of them didn't show up.
Yeah, okay,
And then there's a letter coming from Representative Barker
okay.
and the school district yet. So
Wow,
I'll get that to you yet.
that's awesome. Okay. After going back and kind of looking at things, I did up the total to 4 million. just to go back and make sure we got everything covered, but the thing is, it's scary as much as anything else, is I don't know what materials are gonna do next year. If there's gonna be any concrete or any other changes, oil, I mean, you never know with this economy being like it is, so. But that way it gives us a little extra cushion, so I'll get that turned in.
When is the award date?
I think, I don't know whether they said something, no, it's typically 4 to 8 weeks afterwards. It depends on how many applications they get in, and they have to get it, but, and I don't know if KDOT is still working remotely. That tends to cause a little extra delay because they have to try to get all the information to everybody, so I can go back and check for sure. So I sent the information back to, on the crushed rock. I got a text from him this morning, said that he would be sending in a letter about that. He did not like being charged the liquidated damages, but as soon as I get that, I'll give it back to you. So back and forth on the Nighthawk. The contractor has requested, and I don't know how we can do this, is to get paid basically as soon as they can. We're still working on fund. We're going to owe them approximately $2.2 to $2.3 million for this second payment. So I don't know. Like I said, we're going back and forth on making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So is there a possibility of getting even half or 2/3 or whatever else for that, or would you rather just wait until
What's the contract say?
we didn't establish anything. We do have the plan was just to wait until the end, but I mean, part of the reason why this payment was so big is because they didn't start chip sealing until like August 3rd. So all the chip sealing, we would typically pay every month. But I don't think it's coughing as much as the other, the subcontractor that's obviously not as big. So, but I don't know how that would work because the commission has to approve it first before you issue the check. So probably Monday at the earliest. So.
Well, when are you gonna have the pay application done?
Well, that's what we're working on. We're going
Okay.
back and forth.
Because we can't do it without that.
Well, I mean, yeah, we could have, like I said, I could make it up to where we wouldn't pay for everything, and very confident on that, but, so.
You got retainage in there, right?
What's that?
You got a retainage clause?
No, we typically don't hold retainage. They got rid of that because, what they found out was the contractors were actually charging more because they were having money withheld for work they were getting done. That was KDOT's policy changed about 10, 15 years ago. I don't know about the private industry, but anyway. Like I said, I can keep working on it and get it back to you.
Charge 10-15% more.
Yeah, well, it's just.
If you're bidding against somebody else.
Yeah, it's, but I mean, that's what KDOT went with. But anyway, I guess I could, with the commission having to get together, I hate to have a special meeting just to pay for something, but,
Well, it needs to be signed off on.
yeah,
I mean.
right.
got
So I guess,
Full inspection on it.
Well, the commission meeting's on Monday, the
Yeah.
27th, and payday is the 30th.
Right.
The check could be written the 30th.
well, that's, yeah. If you want to just wait on that, I mean, I want to make sure everything is good. They want to make sure everything's good, and so, but anyway. Okay, well, we'll work on that, get it back to you so that, we have everything taken care of, so.
We haven't paid anything yet?
Yes, we paid them $995,000.
Yeah.
That was for the first month, so. Which included the stored materials part of it. So I'll just, we'll get back and make sure everything's done and get back with you on Monday then. So.
Policies and all as far as what you can pay out in single.
No, I mean, the engineer on whatever job we're doing is the one who always prepares the pay applications, and it doesn't mean that we have to do it all through the end of the project, but generally they come along a little quicker.
Yeah, well, like I said, this one here this month just happened to be, we were gonna wait till the end to pay for everything, and they got done like, 3rd or 4th of September, and we've been going back and forth.
Yeah, but we don't even have one for August, right? A pay application for August.
Correct. This one here would be for the.
So that's
August,
probably what
September.
they're getting
Yeah.
antsy about,
Yeah.
because we didn't get one for August.
Yeah. That's actually what this would be to pay for August, and just so happened it would be the entire project. So. But I'll get back with you on that. I found out, I think it was Thursday or Friday, obviously I sent you the email, we did not get the bridge replacement there. I just heard up this last week that KDOT has opened up the application process for the high-risk rural roads for fiscal year 2024. One of the things I was looking at was this would be a great place if we could get that intersection done at 210th Old Mill and Pawnee, headed to Reservoir. We are supposed to get the result back from their traffic study by the end of the month, so we could turn around and put that back in that application. It's hand in hand. The HRRRs is the TEAP basically helps manage that HRRR, and that's where the actual funding comes from. The TEA program didn't cost us anything for the study. That's entirely federal government. So just thinking that, but even if we don't get that, that's not due until 12/1. So if there's some other, the other high-risk rural roads is the 190th and Nighthawk interchange, or the intersection where there's new pavement and traffic control, stuff like that. So that's what those are for. And the Indigo 130th was another one like that for traffic control, safety studies, stuff to that effect. So put that in your mind too. I think it's October 8th we've got for the bridge set-aside program. Or was that the local bridge, whichever one was. That was a local bridge improvement program, that's right. So we have that one.
109th Nighthawk is done though, I mean, it's coming. It's set up.
It's
on
been
it.
designed, waiting for KDOT approval to put it in the mix and be let next year in the spring.
So we could not get it.
No,
Okay.
we have that confirmed.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, every project we have now is confirmed except for this TEAP one that I was talking about.
Okay.
So,
Just want to make sure.
yeah, well, that's.
Thought we was.
we've
Thought it was
got-
already
yeah.
in the picture, but.
Yeah, we've got so many projects going on, but, and then this Wednesday and Thursday, I'm gonna be at the MEAT conference in St. Joe. It starts on Wednesday at noon, done Thursday at noon, but I'll be available, phone call, anything else, so. Other than that, I guess I didn't really have, we are, give you a little update, we should finish up, Remington tomorrow morning. Stripers are scheduled for Thursday, to come in and, get that done. So we should have all that done, and we'll make sure that mowing and whatever else is completed. We'll have it looking as good as we can. The guys, once we're done, chip seal and Remington are gonna go down to 40th and 60th and Timber, get to Peabody to Burns, and then while we're down there, we're gonna go down to the city of Burns and do their part there through. So that pretty much takes care of that. Still trying to, got a lot of section men, other people driving trucks, just trying to get get material moved, but nobody beating down the doors yet. So.
Appreciate the work on Remington, looks good. It's a big event this weekend, and I know you guys have pushed against the wall on the mechanical problems. But it's good.
Yeah. I don't know if Randy told you, but we did have a bunch of traffic control devices coming in to help us delineate traffic and no passings, or no parking signs and stuff like that. I talked to a local contractor and they were, glad to offer services, so.
That's gonna look nice for some.
Well, safety wise is the main thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't want anybody to park alongside the road and
Yes.
basically shutting everything down, so.
I'm gonna back you up a second, Bryce, and ask you, what kind of meeting you gonna attend in St. Joe?
The MEAT, it's a meeting for like county engineers, superintendents, stuff like that. MEAT actually stands for Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. Basically that region gets together, talks about issues that's what we talked about 2 years ago. We talked about the use of social media, stuff like that. So it's been a really, really valuable, I mean, for the time that I went, I thought it was very, very good. And it's only a day, it's just a matter of travel up there and back.
Yeah.
And so have to come back with anything new and exciting.
All right.
Since we're down to one trucker, do we have commitments from commercial haulers? When the time comes, I mean, it stays dry, maybe we won't need them, but
Yeah.
they will.
Yeah, we've never had a problem in the past. Fact is, everybody we've worked with has really, really been good to say, hey, I said, I'm gonna buy and I need something. They said, well, we'll make it work.
Yeah,
So,
I just hate to get to a spot where all of a sudden, oh, we're tied up for the next 3 weeks.
yeah, like I said, I mean, we're fortunate that we have quite a few to pick from in the county too, or right around, just outside the county, so. But
So how many idle trucks do we have?
1, 2, if we get down to one truck driver, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 that are good running. We've got a couple, we got that single axle one also, and the 152 is pretty rough shape, but it hauls a lot of our rocks.
I'm just wondering at some point if we have to hire everything done, if we're not gonna have to sell some equipment.
Well, I mean, that's something to look at. I mean, you hate to,
Trade it out for something we need.
well, I mean, you hate to get to that point, and
You gotta have people to run it
Yeah.
before you need some.
and I don't know, what the demand is right now for those used trucks either. And that's ultimately now it comes down to the fact is if you sell one or a couple trucks, then you're almost, if we do get back to hiring them, do we get a truck back or do we just continue hauling, contract?
Well, what's your peak demand time for your own trucks? Like chip sealing, you need more than one truck.
Yes.
For spreading sand in the winter, I'm gonna guess you need more than one truck.
The sand issue really
Is
isn't
it-
much.
Okay,
because
for
we
chip
don't-
and seal, how many?
Chip and seal and blade patching is the big thing.
When-
Because
how many
we have,
trucks?
because typically we're driving farther.
Right.
I mean, we try to locate the material as close as we can, but
Yep.
within reason.
Yep.
The other thing with chip seal is we can't just use any truck because all of our
Right.
trucks have the pintle hitch
Yep.
connection on there, so they don't come loose from the
Yep.
machine.
Yep.
So, and you just can't put anybody in that kind of truck either. You gotta make sure about that. But, honestly, the trucking comes down to what we're doing at the time,
Yep.
There would be times when we're, hauling contracts or whatever else, hauling long distance or whatever else, the contract hauling is the way to go.
Yep.
So. But
If you just look nationwide, nobody can get truckers.
Yeah.
And some of them are out offering almost 6 figures.
I guess all I'm pointing out is there are periods of time when we use more than one truck.
Well, right.
And we bring people from other stations to run those trucks. I don't wanna be stuck with just one truck and then we need that.
Here's the other thing that comes into play, and no one can determine what it is plowing snow. We put a plow on every truck, and we sent them out in certain areas, and we may have to pull the sand spreaders off just to be able to plow snow. I mean, I don't know, you never can expect that, but just pulling everybody, we'll have to pull section, then back off to run trucks, and so they're not working on their sections, and I hate to jinx myself, so say we're gonna get several feet of snow this winter, and so.
Since you brought up the subject, I don't know, do you have blades for trucks? Is snow normally bladed with the blades, or is it normally bladed with trucks, or what, do you use combination?
Our policy is typically, we put a plow on the front of every truck, and they do all paved roads.
Okay, plows do paved.
Simply because the paved roads, they have to travel farther to get there, for the most part. But we use our blades to do the gravel and dirt roads. The guys know in the sections which roads are the most traveled, where they need to go, so they'll go hit them first. But like I said, the other thing is, by going faster, they can get down the paved roads faster, hopefully get them opened up sooner. So, but
The farmer's almanac is not predicting kind.
You
I
also-
believe for a farmer's.
You also need some sand on the paved roads. every once in a
well,
while.
and that's like I
Yes,
said,
yes,
it's
the truck is- that makes
and that's another thing too, is
Intersection.
all of our sand is located here in Marion,
Yep.
so
Yep.
we send those trucks out, it doesn't take long for them to
Yep.
get emptied, so.
Okay.
Maybe between now and then, things change, I don't know, but, it's like somebody said, when your spines, or when your stomach starts touching your spine, then it's time to go do something, so. But anyway, anything else? I hate to get done early or anything, so.
Anybody got anything?
I guess if you need something, give me a holler or whatever else. Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We take care of it earlier.
I think I had everything.
Okay.
In your mail folder, I don't know if you noticed the receipt, that we did receive the payment from the wind farm, so.
It's
down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got here.
Okay.
Should be on the front.
It is.
Should have been on
Oh.
It's probably on my list.
the.
Well,
But it's somewhere so that we could write it in red.
oh,
Okay, so that does bring up an interesting, I'll do that on commission comments. So public comments will be first if nobody has anything, but everybody's done anything. Public comments first.
oh.
Anything online?
There's nothing online.
Nothing online, nothing in the building. So commission comments. Anybody else have anything? Somebody can kick it off?
We got a good report back on
Comments?
our EMS
That's supposed to.
Yeah.
at Hillsborough. Just wanted to highlight that.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I've been here too long probably. I've been around long enough to, we've discussed when this wind farms started paying, what are we gonna do with that money? I mean, there's been all kinds of different thoughts. Is it all going back to the general budget and fit the general and leave it there, spend it everywhere? Or are you gonna designate anything to any specific items or anything like that out of it? I know there's a commissioner down there on the other end. He wanted some of the payments all for the roads. And he's mentioned that before.
On the budget prep, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Great spin.
You know, that the RMA money, we are intending to put back in road and bridge, because if we spend everything that you budgeted for next year, we have $2,000 cash carryover at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we're just counting on that to bump up their cash carryover from that RMA payment.
Okay.
Sorry, Randy.
So I guess that would be my.
Just-
But as far as the pilot payments that we will get, that's just being tracked. We haven't it's in a separate fund right now, but we're reporting it just as general money that's coming in, so those.
That's what I was actually referring to.
Yeah,
Pilot, since we got that check, I thought.
Right, there's two different parts of that, and so the RMA payments, we were hoping to put in road and bridge just to bump up the cash, but
Yeah.
as far as the.
Which to me is,
Anyway.
that's exactly where it needs to go, is because it is a road reimbursement.
But as far as the pilot payments, that can do
Yeah.
whatever.
Correct.
We'll probably need to have a discussion about those pilot payments again now that this part is done. Some things there.
You may have some extra cash if we don't have employees, you should have some extra cash somewhere.
True, I'm just saying, based on the budget that you adopted for
Yeah.
road and bridge, if you spent it all.
Yeah. Any other questions, commission comments? I'm not hearing that. Brad, final?
Nothing today.
Tina, any final?
Probably only when we're done, we remember like, oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. By vote.
So I guess we're not gonna pave Diamond Road all the way from Lehigh to Dickinson County. I was kinda hoping.
Lehigh to McPherson County, probably. That's the opposite direction for you.
It's not quite what I had
Oh,
in
Not
mind.
what you had in mind.
Yeah, Vernon, I forgot. You didn't even open up on that one.
Leave for another day.
Another day. Okay. Okay.
Maybe let Tina use it. Be Tina's board.
Oh, boy.